Hey guys, Justin Bryant here from selfmadesuccess.com, and in this video I'm going to show you 7 Instagram marketing tips and hacks for 2017. I'm going to show you what Instagram actually looks for in an Instagram post that determines whether they will show it to more of your followers and make it more likely to help you get more traffic, get more shares, get more engagement, and things like that. So if you want to just be popular for your personal account or you want to build a large business brand on Instagram, either way, these will work for you if you just use them correctly. So the first thing you have to keep in mind with Instagram is they have an algorithm, just like the other social media sites, that determines how popular posts are likely to be, or how many people will be shown the post based on certain signals. So I'm going to show you these 7 signals that they go off of with their algorithm to determine whether they should show your post on Instagram to more people or not. So the first signal is engagement. So how much your engagement is on a post will have a big impact on whether or not it will be shown to a bigger portion of your followers or not. So it's likely to rank higher in the feed and be one of the top posts shown in a feed if it has more engagement than most other posts. So that includes things like likes, comments, video views, shares, saves, story views, live video views, all that type of stuff. So you want to get as much engagement as possible. And one way that you do that is you have to always be experimenting with different types of posts, but you also need to be going back and looking at what performed the best so that you can replicate that in the future. So I'm on the Tony Robbins page on Instagram right now. You can see he's been posting a lot of stuff recently as of me making this video. The Golden State Warriors basketball team literally won the championship last night. He's already posted what looks like a bunch of posts about them already, like 6 to 9 posts maybe already since that happened. So he's been very active on Instagram lately. But you'll notice that a lot of these posts actually have less engagement than his regular posts do. That's because his audience isn't necessarily full of basketball players and basketball fans. So when you notice that his regular posts get 20 or so likes, or like a quote, his quotes get, that quote, for instance, gets 49.8 thousand likes, 831 comments. That's one of his highest performing ones right there. Another one, this one gets 34, if I can get it to come up, it gets like 33.4 thousand likes, 525 comments. So you can see kind of how quotes tend to do a lot better. Here's another one. It gets 26.6 thousand likes, 224 comments. Those tend to do better. So if he wants to increase his following a lot more, I mean, he already has 1.5 million. He doesn't have to worry too much about that. But if he wanted to really push for growth, he could post more quotes, and he would probably get a lot more engagement and a lot more relevancy to his followers. So when you post what your target audience always engages with the most and stuff that is similar, then you can build your momentum much faster, and it will just compound over time. So always be looking at your last 10, 20, 30 posts and see, okay, this one really stands out. It did really well. This one stands out. It did very poorly. Stop doing posts like the ones that did poorly and start doing more like the ones that did very well. And you can judge that by the amount of likes, comments, and things like that that the post got. Relationships. So another thing is when people interact with you often, your posts become a priority. So that means that they basically like your general account instead of just engaging with a specific post. So this is more about your authority overall as a profile. And to get more of this, obviously you want to post more of what people like. You want to post often so that people keep coming back to see more of your stuff. This is kind of like the best friend effect, as some marketers call it, where they use their algorithms to determine which people you tend to favor the most on Instagram, and then that is determined by your direct messages, how often you search for people, people you might know in real life or might be linked to on Facebook because they're owned by the same company, people whose content you tend to like very often from the same profile. Those are the types of things that factor into relationships on Instagram. And the stronger your relationship seems to the algorithm, the more likely you are to see their stuff at the top of your feed. So you can look at things like your analytics. If you want to get an Instagram analytics tool, there's 5 really good free ones out there right now. You can find them at Social Media Today, called the best 5 free Instagram analytic tools. They mention Iconosquare, which used to be Statigram, been around a long time. Simply Measured, InstaFollows, another good one, Union Metrics, and Crowdfire, which used to be Just Unfollow. Those are a few free tools that you can try. If you go to this page, you can kind of read a short description about each one. Iconosquare is probably the most popular. You might start with them first. That's probably what I would recommend to you if you're beginning with analytics. But that will help you a lot. And like I said, going through and just looking at whatever numbers you can find based on likes, comments, and things like that. But the more you can get the same people to interact with you over and over again, that's why you want to post more of what is your most popular stuff, like quotes. Then they will be more likely to see your future posts, and it will be a priority to them in the Instagram feed. So try to get people to like your stuff more often, respond to direct messages if you can. Try to be easy to find on Instagram. You want people to be able to search for you. One thing I recommend is using the same handle on all your social media accounts. Like Tony Robbins probably has Tony Robbins as his handle on Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere else, so it's very easy to find him. That's another thing. You want people to search for you very often. And those are some of the things that could factor into that part of the algorithm. Number 3, time spent. So the longer someone spends time on a specific post, so this is just one post, the more relevant it seems. So the first thing we went over, of course, is about the individual post and the engagement on it, which is likes, comments, and all that stuff. The second thing we went over, of course, is kind of your authority, how often people a specific person especially, interacts with your brand. Now we're back to kind of an individual post indicator, which is like how long people spend in terms of seconds or minutes looking at your post. So one other great thing about like posting quotes, for instance, on Instagram is people have to read them to get the full experience of the post. So when you read them, you have to spend a little bit longer looking at it because it takes us longer to process words than just an image of him and his wife or whoever that is, or him with the Tom Brady and Julian Edelman from the Patriots doing an interview. So if he just has a picture like this, it doesn't take long to process that. You can just kind of scroll through different pictures. But if he has a quote like this, one reason that he might get more engagement is because people spend more time reading it because there is something to read on the page, and therefore when they spend more time on it, Instagram likes that and will send it to more of his followers, a larger percentage. So that's another thing that you might want to factor in is how long would it take to process whatever your post is while keeping it relevant. So another brand, Founder Magazine, you'll notice they do a lot of quotes and things like that, or stories that are inspiring. that kind of stuff. So it takes you a little bit longer to process it because you're reading it, but those tend to be very popular anyway. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. Quotes not only get high engagement, but they also take a while to read, so they have to spend more time on the post, giving you an even better ranking. So that another big symbol, of course, is the time spent on the specific post. And as far as increasing that, you can do more videos, do more quotes, do something that has words in it. And if they spend significantly more time on that than other content, then that shows them that they probably like your stuff, and that post should also be shown to more people. So that's kind of something that Facebook discovered, and they've passed it on to Instagram. So that will help them get higher in the followers' feed. Number 4, relevancy. So relevancy is basically how similar it is to other stuff that they tend to look at on Instagram. So if you take your followers, what other stuff do they tend to look at? So you might find people who are related to your brand. So if Founder Magazine was trying to work on its relevancy, they might see what kind of stuff Entrepreneur Magazine is posting, or what kind of stuff is Business Insider posting. That can give them an idea of how to stay relevant to what their target audience is already looking at. So let's say entertainment or travel. Let's say travel is a very popular category on Instagram. A lot of people do like photography and post it on Instagram and get a lot of followers that way. So if you have a travel account, you could do similar posts to these other travel accounts, and then you would have that kind of relevancy in your favor for getting more people to see your post. So as far as that goes, try to post like what works very well for your competitors. Try to post things that are similar to the top categories. If you want to see what the top categories and the top things like that are the most popular, the ones that are going to have the best posts on Instagram, you can look at the top 25 Instagram accounts. So number 1 would be the actual Instagram official account. Number 2 is Taylor Swift. Then you have like Selena Gomez. You have Kim Kardashian. You'll notice a lot of like celebrities. Beyonce's on there. So you'll notice a lot of female celebrities are at the top of the list. Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber's there. So you can get the sense that there's a strong female audience on Instagram. So you might make more content that is related to them. Kendall Jenner, Nicki Minaj, Cristiano Ronaldo, the soccer player, National Geographic. So you can kind of get an idea of what people are really looking for. A lot of it is celebrities, photos, people that are popular with a female audience, and things like that. So travel, food, fashion, sports, those are very popular genres on Instagram. So you can relate to those a little bit maybe, and be more likely to show up in people's news feeds on Instagram. Another thing you can do is work on your direct shares. So this is when people share a post from an account, they might see more from them in the future. So if you share a post from a certain Instagram account, then you share that with your friends or something, then Instagram will take note of that with its algorithm and be more likely to show whatever profile whose post you shared. They'll be more likely to show more from that profile in your feed in the future. So it's very easy to share with your friends now on Instagram, and when you do that, usually you're only going to share stuff that you really like. So sharing is a lot more valuable to Instagram than what you like or what you comment on. Like probably being the least popular and things like that as far as how that works. But you can go back and look at the engagement here. Usually The more likes and comments something has, the more likely people have been to share it. But you think about sharing it in this way. People will not share something unless they feel good about being associated with what they're sharing. So if they want their friends to know that they believe in something or that they like something, then that's when they share it. Or they really want their friends to see it too. So maybe it's something funny. It usually will trigger a strong emotion. It's something funny. It's something inspiring. Stuff like that. It's motivational. That's why another reason why quotes do very well. But it might be some sort of scenery or beautiful picture. It might be a funny video that Kevin Hart did. He's also very popular on Instagram. Those are the types of things people tend to share. Animal videos. So if you can post stuff that's more shareable, if you can look at all across social media, especially on Instagram, of what people tend to share. But like Facebook, for instance, will actually show you in the numbers what amount of shares it has, whereas I don't think Instagram actually tells you that unless you have one of those analytic tools that I mentioned earlier, like Iconosquare or something like that. But what you want to do is make stuff that is shareable, which triggers a certain emotion, and that will really help you get a lot more out of it. So to get it shared more, it also helps to have the most popular hashtags. So shortstack.com has the 158 most popular hashtags for Instagram marketing and more in 2017. So this is a list of up-to-date popular hashtags on Instagram. I recommend you look through this. Hashtag birthday, hashtag red, workout, sweet, wedding, black and white, insta-love. These can show you what the most popular categories are, and these can make you more likely to get more shares because people tend to follow certain hashtags more than others. So you can see what other posts are going with these hashtags. You can use these hashtags. You can use a lot of them. You can use a couple of them. But you want to use the most popular hashtags to increase your likelihood of getting more shares, getting more engagement, and things like that. Plus, it'll help show you, like I said, what the most popular categories are. So like beautiful photos, cute photos, happy photos, fashion, selfies, summer stuff, things that are related to current events like the time of year, the holidays, and things like that do well as well. Number 6 is timeliness. So another thing that Instagram really takes into account when ranking posts and things like that is timeliness, which is, affected in the best way by just posting more often. Now, if you want to know how often you should be posting on Instagram, I have a chart here that shows you should do about 1 to 2 posts per day. Now, coschedule.com is the website I found this on, and the reason I use theirs compared to other marketing companies that have done studies like this is they took pretty much all the top studies from those marketing companies and combined the results and averaged them out. So 1 to 2 posts per day recommended. This is from a lot of data that backs this up. Post number 1 should be between 8 and 9 a.m. For whatever time zone your target audience is in. If you're trying to stay local, do your time zone. If you're trying to target people in another country, do 8 or 9 a.m. in their country, at their time zone. And post number 2 should be at like 2 a.m. So believe it or not, 2 a.m. could be a good time to post as well. One reason being there's a lot less competition. So sometimes you want to post in the middle of the day, but you're going to have a lot of competition. Sometimes you want to post early in the morning or late at night when there's a lot less competition. And so that kind of tells you 1 to 2 posts a day. I recommend you post twice a day at least, because that gives you a good strategy for you can do one kind of experimental post and one post that will perform well. So if you do very well with quotes, then you might post 1 quote a day. but then you might experiment with another type of post that you've never really done to see how it does. If you don't experiment, you'll never reach your full potential for your account, for your post. And like I said, you always need to be looking at what performs below normal, what performs above average, and then get rid of what doesn't work and capitalize on what does. So one of your posts every day should always be something that you pretty much know will work. The other post should be like an experiment. And that works pretty much across all types of social media, YouTube, all of that stuff. So timeliness, is it up to date with current events? That's a big part of it. Like if today is some sort of holiday or something like that, that can be helpful. If you've posted it very recently, you'll be more likely to rank it. Those are the types of things that really will help you. So another thing, holidays, like in the United States, for instance, if you are in the United States, you can see what days or what holidays and what significant. They're not always holidays, but they're maybe the birthday of somebody who's a celebrity or some other type of significance for pretty much every day. They might be a foreign holiday that you don't usually even celebrate, but you might do a post related to that because it's a current event, and people love posts that are related to current events, just like how Tony Robbins did a current event with the Warriors winning a championship recently. So he posted a bunch of stuff related to what just happened in the world, which is they won the NBA championship. So that's an example. Timeliness is very important towards the Instagram algorithm. And last but not least is profile searches. So when you check out a profile very often, if you keep searching for Tony Robbins, like for instance, you may or may not even be following a certain person, but you go up to the search bar up here and you type in Tony Robbins or Founder Magazine or some of these other ones pretty often, that means you're probably going there to see what they've posted recently because you're interested in what they have to post. So Instagram's algorithm takes that into account and therefore will serve up more of their posts in your feed if you are following them. So the ones that you search the most often, usually you're not just going to randomly go through your feed and that's it. A lot of times people use that search bar and search for posts from specific people that they tend to favor over others. So if you can get people to search for you by just posting really cool, popular content all the time that's up to date with current events and stuff like that, then people will want to search for your newest stuff, and you will be bringing people back to Instagram, and Instagram will love you for it, and you will build a very popular account. So like I said, use current events. You can go to timeanddate.com, look up the holidays in the United States for 2017 or whatever country you're in or whoever you're trying to target for your target audience. Post very often like Tony Robbins does and Founder Magazine does and a lot of celebrities, like 1 to 2 times a day at least, as co-schedules, study, shows, use popular hashtags, do what you can to get people coming back to your profile and searching for it all the time. So if you take those 7 things into account, you work on getting more people to search for your profile, you post stuff that's timely about current events, current holidays, and you post often, usually daily. You get more direct shares by posting more of what they want, what people are likely to engage with. You stay relevant by not veering off of your category or your industry very much. You stay relevant to what your audience wants. You post stuff that makes people spend more time to get the most out of your post, like something they would have to read or something like a video that they would have to watch. If you work with relationships, you respond to direct messages, you get more people to comment and things like that on your posts very often. You kind of build personal relationships with people on Instagram, and you get good at replicating the stuff that gets the most engagement and finding ways to do posts similar to those. If you do those 7 things, you will build a very popular Instagram account. You will see a lot more growth and you will build a lot of momentum. So if you got something from this video, if you feel like you learned something, please like and subscribe so I can create more videos like this for you. Also, if you want to let me know about some other Instagram strategies you've tried and been successful with, or you want to just let me know what you thought about the video, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and get your feedback and add to this topic. And also the show notes, related content, and links that I mentioned will be on selfmadesuccess.com in the coming days on one page for you. And I'll also try to get a link in the video description for you as well to that page. So other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you have a great day.